From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hey everyone, it's Caroline Gant.
Hey everyone, Austin Lowen.
Tyler Blankenship, that's my name.
And
Don't wear it out.
That's right. But what you should wear outside is your today's shorts.
Yes, you should be wearing those shorts outside today, Austin.
It's your bottom shorts and your top hoodie.
I will say it's not a flannel day right now out there.
Not it. Oh, it's warmed up so much.
You were in double flannel this morning.
Whew. Yeah, that's how it's been. You know, we're here in Nashville, Middle Tennessee, and like in the mornings, it is brisk. Chilly, even some would say.
Let's do a zone check, Austin.
Okay, Tyler, tell them the zone.
7B.
Thank you, Zone Man.
Yes, Zone Man.
Zone Man.
It's the Zone Man.
But then, yeah, like I was saying,
7B.
once you get to about, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, like you have got to take off layers because it starts to get cooking out here. Mm-hmm. So it's hovering at what, 80 probably right now? 82?
It's probably right at 80, yeah.
Sunny and beautiful, I'll give you that. And hey, welcome in fall color.
Oh, it's here. It has arrived.
Man, I just noticed it yesterday. I was outside all day yesterday and I just kept looking at the trees and being like, okay, I'm seeing shades of orange, yellows, reds, lots of maples, all of them. They're starting to go.
Why were you outside all day?
Because I was working, man. Oh, I did some work. And yeah, Tyler, I mowed the grass. I double cut it. Looked like I was cutting hay. It's been so dry.
Hey.
Hey. Uh-huh.
Hey.
Yeah. But I did that. But I also weeded like crazy, y'all. Clean up. And you know what? I got a new spot that, you know what I thought of I might do?
What?
We might be able to like send up pictures and be like, hey, what's your Kev plant?
Hey, man, what should Kev plant?
Plant?
I got a
You're
big
gonna
spot.
get so many choices.
You know what I did, Caroline? Yes,
What?
you know, I dug up the roses, and what did I do with them?
Threw them in the woods.
Yeah.
Throw them in the woods.
Actually, I took a very cute video I've already showed you of my daughters throwing them in the woods for me. I love how like I'm already getting them excited about like throwing trash plants in the woods. They're all excited about it. The roses are 6 foot tall and leggy and awful, and I hate them. So they're gone.
And
they're
you
in
said,
the woods.
Gone, throw it in the woods.
I did. And I filmed them doing it. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Tyler, I'll show you the video after this.
It was very cute.
Cool, can't wait.
I like that the smallest one got the biggest rose both times.
She did.
She was like, I can wrangle this rose.
Little lucky penny. She's strong. So yeah, that's what I was doing. Hands and knees weeding, y'all.
You had a full day. I saw a before and after photo, and it's pretty impressive. For one, it's impressive how much you let your bed get out of hand.
Thanks
this
for that.
summer. You're welcome.
Thanks.
But it's also impressive how well you cleaned it up.
Well,
I'm not one to talk because my I'll show a picture of my bed right now. I'm just going to stop talking about it.
Okay.
It's bad.
well, to be fair with mine, I knew I was going to be digging up those 5 roses. So that's why I let the weeds get like super bad over there. It was not that bad through the rest of the garden, but through that bed. But at that spot, you are not wrong. That was the weediest jungle mess I think I've ever let happen at my house.
It was shocking when I saw it.
But
I thought I might not know you anymore.
they're all gone. It's a total cleanup, and we're going to redesign it. It's going to be fantastic.
You've got some ideas. I
some.
told you should put some Stokes aster over there.
I know, and I like that plan. The problem is I got too many ideas. This
Just do-
nursery is huge, y'all.
Just do one of each.
No.
Just do one of each.
You
Make
know
it
I don't
random.
do that. Tyler, have you planted your grasses yet?
Sometimes it's fun to switch it up.
No.
One of each. What?
Guys, I've got that thing where like you have 2 or 3 things you got to do before you got to do the thing. So right now I've got to select the paint color for the foundation Bricko blocks around my house.
Oh, Tyler, that's
Then
going
I
to
gotta
take
pick
3
Take
weeks.
you a while. Yeah.
Well, it's already been one.
I know
maybe
you were
2.
choosing paint colors.
If y'all don't know Tyler, this man, he's one of the best men on the planet, first off. But he takes a very long time to pick anything. Don't you, Tyler?
He's great, but boy, he can't make up his mind.
Yep.
Shooey.
That's kind of it.
He is wonderful, though. You know what you have not done? Made your fried green tomatoes.
Guys,
Yeah. I still haven't eaten that.
double embarrassment today. Maybe your collective shame will make me do things.
But yeah, you told me what's happening. Aren't they blushing? Ain't
They're
them tomatoes blushing?
Blushing maters.
That ethylene gas is leaking
No.
out of them now. I had to separate them because I was like, no, I don't want this to run away. They're just in a bowl on my counter.
Oh, you're done now, man. You're past the green tomatoes phase. They're blushing into red.
Well, there's more tomatoes out there.
Right.
I'm not really worried. The
right.
cold temps have kept them from cripping up to the red.
From cripping up to the red.
Enjoy that, everybody. Grammarians.
So this week you're going to make fried green tomatoes for everybody, right?
For everybody? Did I
feel like
say
that's what we
everyone?
talked about.
Look,
when
I
I
got a
say
whole-
everyone, I'm talking about me and Kev.
I got a whole mess of green tomatoes on the vine still right now. I'll bring you some.
I've got quite a few as well.
Yeah, we'll bring our own even.
We'll
Long as
bring
you do
our
the
own and
frying.
you make them.
Honestly, I would love to just have a fry. Like instead of a fish fry, it's a green tomato fry.
Do
be
it.
great.
Bring your tomatoes. We'll dress them up.
Hear that,
and
everybody? We're going to do that.
that is way too many people.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, it
But
sounds
I
like
think-
you've...
A Geo block party would be amazing.
Oh my gosh, a Geo Block party would be good. Y'all, write in. Tell us how much you would love it. We'll make it happen. Tyler
Yeah.
will make us all fried green tomatoes. It'll be great. But you do have a lot of projects on deck. So,
Oh, yeah,
sounds
no
exciting.
kidding. Yep. I'm chuffed that the timing. Yeah, that's right.
I have never heard that word
Me neither.
before.
It just means I'm like pleased with myself that.
Chuffed.
Yeah.
Did you make it up?
I like it.
I think I didn't. I'm pretty sure I picked it up along the way.
It's all good. Go on, Tyler. Sorry,
Okay.
interrupted you.
Well, I'm just happy that my greenhouse was cleaned up and prepared. It seems at the right time for the cooler temperatures to come. And there's already been a response from my guava and my lime. There's new growth, new leaf growth. It's just so fun to see plants respond to what you do because they're living things that have to adapt to their environment.
Most definitely. Yeah, seeing change in plants is great because they're slow. I mean, let's be honest. We got to be patient with plants all the time. And it's kind of annoying sometimes with some plants. But then you do something to cause a response. And then you're like, yeah, I kind of did that.
I made that happen.
Yeah, there's a temperature probe in my greenhouse, and my fan works by hitting a certain temperature. Or you can do it by humidity. I don't choose to usually because the humidity is pretty good in there. But whenever I water, it spikes the humidity. And so I watch the little humidity percent go up. And then at the end of the day, when I check it again, it's back down again because it's already kind of, some of it's evaporated off and been absorbed by the plant. So I just, that type of nerd stuff is what I really like about gardening too. But as far as my garden beds go, embarrassment. And there's literally I feel like there's a force field of chiggers right now that is preventing
Really?
me. Yes, because the past couple of times I've walked my pathways, I've had chigger bites around my feet. And it's just really terrible. We haven't gotten a cold enough night to kill them off. And I'm going to have to go in there and basically do weed whacker warfare. And I'm probably going to dig some stuff out. I'm probably going to rip a lot of things out. And this is going to be one of the first major upheavals of my garden beds since I started them in 2017, 18. So,
Hey, it feels good to do that sometimes. A rejuvenation, if you will.
yeah. Well, it's got me thinking a lot because the way that I did everything was very eclectic and it was nice to experiment and stuff. But, I feel like as a gardener, my interests have changed and aged a little bit.
Definitely.
So I'm like, okay, maybe it's time to move the raised beds closer. And maybe I don't need all of this space for this experimental growing that I was doing, And I'm going to try and refine it a bit.
Nice. We always are growing and learning more. Caroline?
Yes, we are.
Something happened. Y'all don't get to see pictures on the podcast.
Something
obviously.
happened to me?
Nothing happened. It's a good thing. Let me get there.
Oh, okay.
So y'all don't get to see
The
our
mums,
pictures from
the
our
flocks.
show. Yes, your Sheffield Pink mom is a showstopper. Tell them about it.
If you're listening right now, hang up the podcast and get to your closest garden center and get you a Sheffield Pink chrysanthemum because it is one of the best plants I have ever planted. It is a shrub. I started in a 1 gallon pot. Now it is huge. It's like 4 bird baths put together.
That is a strange unit of measurement.
Well, there's a bird bath right next to it.
I don't even understand
Because I
that.
was like, how big could this be? Think of the lids on a bird bath, how big and round they are, and put 4 of them together.
Okay, like 4, in a
Yes.
block.
Can you say something like
block.
3 or 4 feet? Would that work?
She thinks in bird baths.
I think
It's
in bird
okay.
baths. Listen,
There's a bird bath
I'm
next to it.
lost.
I'm the large pottery manager here too, so my brain is always pottery and bird baths. That's
Well.
where it's at. But yes, my Sheffield pink mum is in full bloom right now, and it is just making me so happy.
It's the most different color, I feel like. And the way the sun hits it almost changes its color throughout the day a little.
Yeah, it's like a salmony, peachy, pinky color
thing. Yeah, it's a color I can't really describe. But it's fantastic.
I will put a photo up so all you listening can see a picture of it. But a lot of my beds don't look too bad right now, except for my side bed that I mentioned earlier. But I actually kept up on weeding with my main beds this year, surprisingly.
You're insane. I can't believe that.
I know, right? And all that heat, I still did it. I am about to redo my entire side bed that the passion flower has took over. So like Tyler, I will be ripping out a ton of stuff.
Good. Passion
I don't know
flower.
what I'm going to put there. It was the non-native to Tennessee passion flower.
That
and
stuff
it
is
has
gross.
Eaten my
The irony,
bed.
I have the native passion flower in my side bed.
That one does not take over like this one.
Yeah, but I'm waiting for all the fritillaries to finish munching on it and doing their little
Doing their
bolting,
little dance.
their what do you call it? Metamorphosis. They're
Yes.
doing that.
Well, I also did move in just a couple more houseplants, so we're getting there.
Yeah.
I think between Sunday and Monday, I probably moved 5 more in.
Good for you.
Just one at a time.
Just, only 68 more to go.
Well,
So-
I have cats, and they try to get out, and
Oh,
I could
I
shut
thought
them
the cats
away.
were going to help you. They were like,
Absolutely
like,
not.
where's
put a pot on a cat and walk it in.
No, I have to think about where I put every single plant because of these cats
Oh,
that I
gotcha.
got here at Bates Nursery.
Gotcha,
They
gotcha.
arrived on a truck, and now they live with me. But I'm slowly but surely getting them all in. It's about time to bring all of my giant cacti in, and I'm not ready for that.
That's a heavy, heavy process.
Y'all want to come to my house and help me?
That's a no.
Kind of risky.
Maybe. I'll make a DiGiorno pizza
Oh,
in my air fryer.
That'll get me there.
Just one, though.
Speaking of pots, y'all, if you listen to the show after this podcast, you were going to hear about my horrible, awful scenario that I went through.
They won't hear about it because it was photos.
Oh,
So you got to watch the broadcast.
you got to go back and watch it. Y'all look at the pictures of my pot. I did something awful.
We will put those pictures up. I will do it today or tomorrow. Get the pictures of Austin's pots up so you can see what we're talking about. But fill them in a little bit.
Y'all, I over fertilized. One pot was great, perfect fertilizer. I put it in. The second pot, I let my 6-year-old do it. She dumped a lot, and I was just like, I'm not going to take that back out. I'm just going to mix it in. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I thought it'll be great. You know what? It'll be fine. It was the premium bedding food. It's 722.8 was the numbers. And y'all, them pansies within is pure white pansies on top with tulips down below. Pure white tulips down below, by the way. And
By the way, pure white tulips down below.
it was only a day and a half, and damage set in. Horrible damage. You type in.
It looks terrible.
If you literally type in fertilizer burn on plants, it should be a picture of my pansies because it looks exactly like everything else out there. And you know what? Like I said, I've been doing this my whole career, went to college for it, and I still make mistakes. So don't feel bad if you do, okay? Just the key is on this, read your fertilizer label. And don't
Read
be
your
like me.
labels.
Don't be like me.
When you told me about it and you brought up that picture, I could see the hurt,
I was so mad
the
at myself.
anger, the annoyance.
I was so mad at myself. All I had to do was scoop some of that back in the bag.
It's okay.
There was a big discussion of responsibility. I remember. And, maybe they were a little too hard on you. But you know what?
But
It's
now
okay.
you know.
I know.
Your pansies going to rebloom, aren't they?
Well, I'm going to have to replant that whole pot. The other pot is fantastic. I mean, it's picture perfect top to bottom. But I got to replant all the other ones. I'm seriously, I'm going to take that soil out that has all that excess fertilizer in it, get it out of there, and then re-put in soil and then plant.
Somebody listening right now or that watched the broadcast might not have known about fertilizer burn. And you just saved some of their plants.
Maybe.
So you losing some pansies saved some of our listeners.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And for that, we
know
say
what?
thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Austin.
Maybe let the kiddos do the planting, but then let the daddy-o or the mommy-o do the
I
fertilizer.
know. They were all three with me. It was cute. She just wanted, Dad, I want to pour it in. And I'm like, okay.
Worth
you
it.
know.
Sometimes it works.
You
Yeah.
just made her day.
I can't say no to
It
that.
doesn't
she
matter
was,
that
if
they
she was
died.
demanding her role,
Yeah.
then she'd probably deserve some ownership of that. Too.
She did say sorry. I was
Oh.
like, whoa, too much. She was like, sorry, Dad.
Oh,
I'm like, it's okay. We're just going to work it in. It's all going to be great.
It's all
Well, it
gonna
wasn't
be
great.
It was not.
But
And
whatever.
that's okay. There's more pansies in the world. Not white ones here right now.
I think they're coming.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be here soon.
Yeah. Well, what else is getting here soon?
Well,
The rest of the show.
the rest of the show is about to arrive right to y'all's ears, right through the speakers of your headphones or your car or wherever you are.
It was a good show this past week.
It was great. We
Hit a
had
lot of topics.
The whole cast was there. The three of us, Josh Carey and David Bates, all present, all entertaining, and all happy to be there.
It was great. Y'all enjoy.
Talking about what's going on. So what do you guys know? I know we did get a shout out on the local newscast this week.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about it.
It was a great time. News Channel 2,
Yep.
I believe.
It was. It was a Zoom call.
Yep.
It was like, it was
we
an interview.
zoomed from here.
We did. We talked about the cold weather that's coming up. I talked about the outside stuff, the things you need to be thinking about. And Caroline talked about all your indoor plants that need to be moved in because it's pretty much time.
Yep.
Mine aren't in yet.
I know. You're the houseplant queen, and your plants aren't even in yet. You texted last night, you said you got eight of your plants in last night?
8 more. So that's a total of like 12 that I have in now.
But you know what's cool is that you've got like 70 plants or something, you told me, something like that.
That are outside.
That are outside. But we've had some cold nights, not 32, but we have had, in our area, I think we got down to like 35.
We did. Yeah.
And tell us about your plants. Are they alive? Did they
are
get
fine.
damaged?
No
Did they
damage
get hurt?
on anything.
Which is great to know.
Nothing.
Because plants can't, we don't recommend you keep your indoor plants out when it gets lower than 40. That's typical. But Caroline's experimenting and seeing what can take it lower than 40.
Am I experimenting or have I just not had a chance to bring them in?
We're not going to talk about that. We're experimenters.
But yeah, typically I would say when the night temps start dipping into the low 40s is when you want to have your houseplants inside. So clearly I'm not taking my own advice, but I haven't lost any yet.
Yeah, sometimes it is about doing what we say and not what we do. And
Exactly.
there is a certain validity to how much it adds to our information base to take some chances here and there to be able to get a better understanding of really what you can't talk about what the limits are on any given plant or species unless you have experienced those limits. So if you always, from our perspective, if everything is proceeded with extreme caution, you don't get that information. So now sometimes the caution just gets forced on us, and maybe that's what you're feeling and your rationale is, Caroline, is that you it's just been too busy, and you say, well, I need to test these plants to find out what they're
Who's tough and who's not.
They're all
That's right.
very tough so
Yeah.
far. But I did remember something, I think yesterday when I was talking to Tyler about bringing my plants in. I had a huge monstera that I had cut back, just a split leaf monstera last year. And it was just a big stem in the pot, about that big around. And I left it out all winter and it didn't die.
Really?
Yep. It didn't look good,
Yeah.
but it didn't die. I was shocked. I don't know how it survived.
One time I left a ZZ plant outside at my mother's house, and she had it was in a pot, just a container.
Was it on top?
Gosh.
Okay.
Nice one. The ZZ top plant. So I left the ZZ plant out, just straight up tropical, should be indoors, whatever. I left it outside all winter long in a pot, just chilling. Didn't do anything all winter, and it literally waited until it was April, May. I think it was June, around June, and then I realized it started reshooting from the roots. Yeah, through the whole winter, came back from the roots. So it's amazing what plants can do sometimes, y'all, even in the coldest of cold.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But I don't recommend, if you really love your plants, pushing them that far.
Yeah.
But all of mine are okay, in case you were wondering, in case you were concerned, and I will get them in hopefully very soon.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
But that's what I have on my mind.
Oh,
Hey,
I got cleanup on my mind.
cleanup
That
is.
it's going to be brutal. I'm going to be worked to death today.
Same, Josh. Same. I've
How
got
do
so
you
much
hold
cleanup
up,
to do.
Josh, you poor thing.
Let's get into questions. All right, we're going to start with the peony question. How and when to split peonies to share with a friend?
Aw. First off, that's
I love
super
that.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Always share with your friends. Do it during dormancy, like we always talk about, y'all. Peonies, however you want to say it, they're looking rough right now, okay? That's what they do. Their foliage is not looking great.
No.
I'm sure you've noticed. But still, let that foliage up. Let it stay up and green until we get those really cold nights to where they're going to turn to mush, lay on the ground, and look all floppy. You're going to cut them back, and then you can dig them up and separate them.
Yeah, I'm going to transplant mine.
I hope my wife listens to that because that's the first thing she sees when she gets out of the car in the driveway.
Oh, I'm sure. They're awful right now.
Oh,
Like, you want to cut them so bad. And like we were just talking about with
Mine look
Caroline
fine.
and your plants. Yeah, like, you can do things we recommend things, but that doesn't necessarily mean if you literally cannot stand your peony right now and it looks so bad that you just hate it, then cut it.
I
then
think
just
it's fine.
cut it back.
It's just we got a dispute over
But
this.
if that is the case and your life is so focused about your
Peony?
despise for this peony that doesn't look wonderful right now, then maybe there are bigger issues at play.
Yeah, that's true.
Perhaps.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's right.
Ooh.
What about planting a peony or a perennial that comes up later in front of your peony?
That's what I do. I layer mine, so then they're hidden. I have lamb's ear in front of one of mine.
Mine's big, though, so I don't have enough room to put anything in front of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's
Taking
probably-
up that whole spot.
It's taking up
Sounds
that
like you
spot.
might need to dig it up, split it, and share it with a friend.
Yeah, maybe I could.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Dig it and split it.
peonies are one of those things that I find that like with most perennials, I typically want to go in groupings of like 3s and 5s. You know, I want like a mass of it. But peonies are one of those things to where like you can just use one peony.
How do you say that word?
I know. I usually
Peony.
say peony, but
I
a lot of
do
people
too.
say peonies. But you can use that just as a singular, focal point in the garden that blooms literally only like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like if you're lucky.
That's
but
my
when
Ito. It's
in
right
bloom,
there by itself.
it's so good.
Yep, absolutely.
It's worth all those leaves that look kind of bad right now.
Mine is actually an heirloom from a man who has a parkway named after him in Smyrna, Tennessee.
Wow.
Came from Mr. Victory's house over there. So,
Well,
Mr. Lee
there you
Victory.
go.
It's
Hey.
gorgeous. So maybe I should pay it forward a little bit.
I think you should.
You should.
Okay.
Split it up.
I wouldn't say no to getting some of that.
Well, you
No.
wouldn't? Oh,
I wouldn't.
okay.
I wouldn't. I love. That's one of my favorite flowers.
I mean,
So.
so many people's favorite flowers.
I know.
Like,
I'm not the only one.
yeah, no, they're beautiful.
They are. They're gorgeous. Well, we've been talking about cutting plants, so let's get to another question. How to know which plants to cut to the ground and which to leave alone for the winter?
This is a very good question, actually.
Yes, it is.
And it really depends on the plant. We need to know what kind of plants we're talking about, and like how for you to know without just knowing is kind of tricky. I mean, for the most part, if it's say like shrubby, like woody stems, a lot of times we can leave those up and not prune much. You can shorten some things, but it really depends on when their bloom cycle is. I mean, it depends on a ton of things. So honestly, we need to know which plants you're talking about because, like, say, beautiful endless summer, either blue or pink, like hydrangeas. Like you would think those sticks are like really, really ugly over the wintertime. I kind of want to clear cut them. Well, you can't do that. If you do that, you're not going to get a bloom set for the next season. So this is very, very plant specific on which ones we're going to cut and which ones we're not.
Like if you have a witch hazel, you don't want to cut you don't want to trim it back now because you're cutting off all your flowers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Forsythia, the same way. Like forsythia can get huge and it's going to
Who are
be
you talking
bigger now.
to there, Josh? Anybody
And I'm not speaking anybody in
Well,
particular.
you've got a
but-
witch hazel
Ooh.
in your yard,
all
right?
right, witch hazel Diane.
It's getting big, right?
Oh, it's huge.
Did you say it's
It
big?
grows like weeds.
I thought you were
it-
about to sing a song.
It's about, I think at the peak, probably 9 feet tall.
Nice.
I mean, and it.
Oh, mine's only about 5 right now. I
Well,
can't
and we
wait for
took
to
it
be that
back.
tall.
We took it back in the spring, and it's a growing machine.
Is it just the
is.
American witch hazel? Is that the one you have?
Witch hazel Diane.
Diane.
Oh,
was the cultivar,
Diane.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's awesome. And that witch hazel blooms at the weirdest time of year. I mean, when like I said,
Nothing
nothing is in
else.
bloom.
Yep.
Yellow or red, like it's super
It's
cool.
amazing.
Cool color flowers
mine.
this fall too. I mean, cool color foliage this year. I mean, it's turning a really nice little
It's like
yellowish orange.
yellow orange, yeah.
It's nice.
They're starting to do it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, my paper bush has giant buds already set because that, like witch hazel, is something that's going to bloom when nothing else is blooming.
Yeah,
And it's
definitely.
going to be great.
So, like I said, we need to know which plants we're talking about, and we can help you with that.
Yes, we can. Right? Is it too late to plant pansies? And do you guys still have them? Oh my gosh, we do.
Yes.
Boy, do we.
Jane was back there cleaning, organizing pansies yesterday. They look great. We are full. Well, I wouldn't say we're fully stocked. They're selling.
Oh, they're selling for sure, but we have a ton.
Carts and carts
to
are
choose
going
from.
out.
Yeah, and is it too late? Definitely not. You need to get them in. Like, it's time to go. But
And part of the thing that needs to be kept in mind with anyone who's contemplating pansies and planted them. I mean, you probably got annuals that are still looking good, so there's always that conflict. But you do know, based on the weather this past week, that we're going to have more of the cold weather. So the summer annuals are a short-term thing at this point. If you're going to do pansies or violas, any of those cool season things, got to get those out. The other thing is availability. And while we've got a great stock right now, our suppliers have become decidedly more hesitant to speculatively grow an extra amount. So consequently, we wind up running out frequently before people have had all of their demands met. So you need to be thinking ahead if it's really important to you to get those purchased and get them at your house, because if they sit here, somebody else may get them and simply may not have an opportunity to purchase. Specifically when it comes down to certain colors that you're looking for, we may have an adequate supply of pansies in general, but if you're looking for a specific color coordination, that only makes it more imperative to keep that in mind.
Yes, it does. Someone in this room is a little disappointed about pansies right now, but we're not going to talk about that just yet. We're going to talk about our next question. What flower can be planted that's not a pansy that flowers over winter? A viola. Same thing.
Y'all, there's nothing else. I don't know if someone knows something different than me, let me know, please, because I don't know of any other flowers that bloom through the wintertime like pansies do.
Right.
But what's wrong with pansies? Why do y'all need something else? Like, pansies are so good.
They are.
In every color, pretty much. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
So it's like, what else? What else is going to be blooming? I mean, there's other, like we were just talking about, your witch hazel blooms at a really weird time over the kind
February.
of the yeah.
I mean Lenten rose blooms at the end of winter.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
still not something that's going to bloom over
continuously.
winter.
No, we just don't have that here.
No, we don't.
I'm sorry.
I know. I've been getting a lot of those questions. I've been stuck back in the greenhouse. No, I wouldn't say stuck, but getting the chance to stay back in the greenhouse and help. And people have been asking, like, other than pansies, I just want something that is going to flower all winter. It's like there's nothing.
And like David talks about all the time, sacrifice your blooms for foliage color.
Yeah.
I think that's where getting them out early, people, I believe, don't really realize the selection of different colors that are available. But if they tend to choose them late, they don't realize that there's maybe some specific color they're looking for because we're already out of them. So pansies really have a nice range of color, and they're quite a captivating show for wintertime. And of course, their really best time is in the early spring when they really start flushing out at that point. So keep them in mind.
Keep them in mind. Can chives and mint grow outside in winter? It's on a covered porch.
Mine do.
Yes, of course. Those are great over the winter. A lot of times.
You can't kill mint. I mean, you can, but it's hard.
It's very hard to kill mint. Yeah, mint is one that you need to grow in a pot, not in the ground, because it will take over the earth. But if you do keep it in pot, a lot of times mint will stay up and even show foliage through the wintertime. I mean, if it gets real nasty, it'll look real bad and not be,
Do not let it get away from you, folks.
No, I have it in my yard, and I harvest it in the winter and use it for tea. It just keeps going.
Yeah, it does. We have it in the back sold lot area. We had mint that escaped one time. It just escaped, and now it's just back there. It's a part of our life now. It's not.
And it's not a bad thing to have.
Smells good when you cut the
grass. And I have even applied non-selective herbicide to that area.
It laughed at you, David Bates.
I mean, it's very, very. And there was somebody apparently dumped, some dead plants back there when it was in a prior use where there's a building now. So it grew out from underneath the edge of the slab into this area. So what you're Austin's saying is true. So heed that warning. It can really make a mess.
Oh, it can. It escaped. I have some mint in my front bed now that escaped, and it has grown under my sidewalk and to the other bed on the other side.
You should pair it with
everywhere.
Yeah, we can get some warm season grasses and just let them run crazy in there. And
I was about to say, I mean, it's kind of like Bermuda grass.
Yeah.
It really is.
And
I tried to dig it up, and it's a bed that has really loose soil. So I actually removed everything because I was redoing it, and I got I definitely didn't get all the mint out, but I remember just pulling
ropes.
Ropes is the perfect word. Just stacked on top of each other, and I tilled the soil with my hands, got as much out as I thought I could, and It's back with a vengeance.
You rejuvenated it.
I did. Yeah, I probably just made it worse. Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix Garden Products, creating regionally sourced high-quality soil blends and amendments for the sustainable-minded gardener. Fall and winter are great times to plant in the Southeast, and Earth Mix can help you with Landscape Soil Conditioner. Mix Landscape with your native soil to feed all winter long. Added mycorrhizal fungi help your plants get established faster and increase hardiness through the year ahead. Visit earthmix.net for more information and retailers near you. Remember, success begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix Garden Products. This next comment question comes from Linda, and it is geared towards Austin. Linda says, "Hi, Austin.
Hey,
Thanks for
Linda.
helping me load my earth mix yesterday."
Oh.
And then Linda asked, should I cut my angel trumpets and calla lilies down to the ground? I'm not cutting my angel trumpet yet. I usually leave those stems up until winter is here.
Oh yeah, well definitely not yet. I mean, if you're lucky and everything's good, like your thing is blooming right now. I saw a big yellow one yesterday, literally yesterday, in some guy's house. I don't know. It was a guy outside, is why I say a guy's house. But it was like a 6-foot tree, and
they become trees, yeah.
Yeah, and they were dangling yellow blooms, just looking beautiful. So do not cut those yet, because like I said, they're probably in bloom. Now your calla lilies are probably looking a little rough. They're getting a little strappy, getting a little floppy probably. But like I always say with everything, leave it green until it's not green anymore, and then chop it to the earth. And you'll see a great reflush next year. A lot of times, we don't sell calla lilies all that much as like a perennial plant, but there is tons of calla lilies that come back year after year and look great. Shout out to my sister, Ashley. That's her favorite flower, and I bought her one this year for Mother's Day.
Nice.
Wow.
That's a gorgeous flower. I haven't grown that. Maybe I should one day.
Maybe you should.
Perhaps. All right. We ready for another question?
Let's get it.
Let's do it. Is weed barrier meant to be removed after a certain amount of time?
You know, Josh, what are you going to say? You have something in your brain cooking.
Something's going on.
What's going
there.
on over there?
Depends on what the weed barrier is. If you've got cardboard, it's going to go away anyway.
Exactly.
If you've got plastic, you shouldn't have done that in the first place. Okay. If you have the old Tyvek variety, or the Typar variety. Typar variety. Tyvek you wouldn't want to use either because you could put it up the wrong way. Anyhow, I'm a big believer in it. Now, David doesn't use it, right?
Well, I mean, the big issue I have with a Tyvek type product is that, you need 3 people to install it and to do a really good job with it, because it's so hard to cut. If you have 2 people holding either end of it, and you could take a razor knife and make X's where the plants are and fold it around, it's very difficult to get installed properly. Now, if you can get it in right, and you can keep it covered with mulch, it's a permanent thing. So it can be quite good, but nothing is very good when you have Bermuda grass growing nearby.
Right.
And so it becomes much more of a liability than an asset. And what you wind up doing is relenting under the siege of Bermuda grass, as it were, and you wind up tearing it all out.
Not to mention, as your mulch breaks down, it gets deeper and you get deeper, and then you have the little maple trees grow, and then you have the little mimosa trees grow, and then you have the little everything grow on top of it. But down below, I don't know why you would want to take it out.
I don't really. I mean, I don't either.
I will say, my house is an older house that apparently was fully landscaped in the 70s and 80s.
With plastic.
And now when I go to do new beds, because the owners I bought it from didn't do any gardening, they removed everything. It was just a blank canvas when I bought it. And when I do new beds around the house and even out in the yard, I find landscape barrier about this deep, from soil going on top. They had pea gravel on top, then grass grew on top, then just stuff dropped, leaves. It's terrible. But it does make it a little easy sometimes, because I can get my hands in and actually roll it back, and I'm just like scalping everything. Yeah. But it's terrible. I find it everywhere.
Oh, when I did my bed at my house as well, it was the exact same way. I was pulling up old landscape fabric that was just broken down and in there, but I needed to dig holes. I needed to get that out of there. So weed barrier is one of those things. It's like, it's okay in the first season, second season, you're going to get weeds on top of it.
Yeah,
30
but if
years
that house,
later.
Still going to pull weeds.
if it was in the 60s or the 70s, I guarantee it's 6 mil black poly.
Yeah.
It's very fibrous, whatever it is.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
that's probably the
It
old
could have been
Tyvek.
laid. It was maybe in the 80s, but it was a long time ago.
I've seen people put black tar paper down.
Mm-hmm.
No,
It's terrible. And I'll actually find multiple layers of it sometimes.
Yes.
No.
It's deep in the earth. All right. Can a 5-foot Monrovia vintage gold cypress be successfly relocated?
Oh, relocated.
I left the off
Say
of the beginning
located.
of that.
5-footer. Yeah, it totally can. Or, you want to dig up as much of the root as you can, like we talk about all the time. Anytime, get as much of the root ball as you can. Try to get all the roots if you can. Have your hole already dug and move it over there quick.
And when should you do it, Josh?
Before 3:30 today.
Before 3:30
Before
today.
3:30 today.
It's ball game time.
Yep,
For the ball
it
game.
is.
Yep.
But yeah, we're going to do this during dormancy once
Yes.
again. So over the winter time is a great time to move it, and that's actually a very that's a hardy plant. Like that plant grows, and it honestly gets big. So make sure you have a good spot for that plant.
Yep.
It's not something that's going to stay small on you. It can end up getting pretty large, but it's a cool plant to grow, and yeah, it can be moved.
Joyce
can
doesn't
be.
like landscape fabric. She says just use mulch.
Yes,
That's
Joyce.
great.
Thank you.
Joyce knows.
Yes.
Joyce does. know.
Joyce was out just the other day. I helped her load. What did we load, Joyce? Like 20 bags. You've been buying earth mix like crazy, girl.
Wow,
like
Joyce.
20 bags of dirt. We threw it in there for her.
We had quite a few people out. I talked to Cherry, one of our viewers, and houseplants. I think you got to talk to her too.
I got to talk to Sherry at checkout. Yes.
Yeah.
Where was she from? What was her last name?
Cherry is, I think it starts with a W, would be
Sherry, you know who
Cherry.
you are. We talked to you. You're great. And she lives kind of far away, I think. And
Does
she drives out to see
Cherry,
us. Yeah.
how far do you drive to see us? Let us know if
Let
you're
us know.
watching. And then you had some guests come in with a cute dog who had the same name as your youngest kid.
Oh, yeah.
Craig and
yes.
Penny.
What was it? Craig.
Craig.
Craig
How
O'Neill.
am I better at
Hey,
names right now than you?
you're just better.
I got
at
a lot of
things.
sleep last night.
Craig is the guy that Josh, you, and David gave the birthday shout out to that one time. And he still thinks that is hilarious. He was like, and also he said they didn't know my name, which was kind of funny, but he was like, it was great. He is an avid listener of the show. I guarantee he's listening right now. He's our friend from Australia, actually.
Oh, wow.
He's got a thick accent, but he is out here all the time. He's created a new bed. We've got him he's looking for new plants to put in it. He is out here all the time. What a cool guy. Cool little dog named
One of
Penny.
the cutest dogs. Penny was just sitting on the cart, one of the flat carts, just going for a ride.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was great. And
hanging on.
it was his little baby Penny, just like mine. And I was like, I got a little
I
baby
don't think
Penny.
we had his name.
You
did
didn't.
not.
You
He didn't have
and
his name.
And
He was
David,
a special
That was
friend.
my bad.
David, he thought it was hilarious though. Like he was so totally fine with it. But he watches the
We're,
show
but we,
every week.
we are so dedicated to trying to connect
Yes.
that we're going to put it out there, even if we don't know who we're putting it out there to.
That's okay.
That's right.
Well, you put it out there to Craig.
He
and
was
you
so
made
happy.
His birthday.
It was great.
All right, crepe myrtle question. We haven't had one in a few weeks.
It's been a few.
It's time. When should I trim back my crepe myrtle? Now or wait until it's dormant?
It's a dwarf one.
It's
Okay,
a dwarf one.
it's a dwarf
Doesn't
one.
matter.
I
Doesn't
know.
matter if
I
it's
was like,
dwarf.
like it
Doesn't matter if
matters.
it's big.
Tyler.
If it still has leaves, we're gonna let those leaves be, y'all. This is the third time I've said this today. If it's got leaves, let it be until they go bad. Like my crepe myrtle, I would say is, let's say, 85% defoliated. Probably only has 15% of its leaves left. Like it started shedding early this year, product of the drought and the heat and everything we had. Like it just started stressing earlier, but it still has its leaves. I'm going to let that be. We've got plenty of time over the winter, y'all. We've got literally like halfway November, December, January, February, all 4 of those months we have to prune our crepe myrtle. So let's give it a little bit more time and then let's get it in check.
Perfect. How about will lantana overwinter well indoors? I'm sure you could overwinter it indoors. Just cut it back, bring it in, give it sun.
Son.
Yes, the giving it sun is the hard part.
It's going
That's
to be
the
the
hard
hard
part,
part.
yeah.
You could supplement with a grow light. I have grow light bulbs that I put in some of my fixtures through the winter to help with my plants
worth
because I
that,
have a
though?
lot. So you could do that. But I think it would be fine. I mean, I think the key is just cutting it back and sunlight.
Yeah, and what we've talked about, me and Carolina talked about that. We talked about this with Ben the other day out on the lot. Like we're talking like we literally grow like
Got a
our
little
tropical plants that we grow inside our home, your fiddle leaf figs, your Dracaena, all these things are like super warm, sun-loving plants that live in like Brazil.
Right.
Poinsettia.
Poinsettia is the same way as plants that we grow inside our home. So why would a lantana not be able to grow inside your house through the winter? Like, it's no different than any of the other plants that are tropical plants.
You can turn anything into a house plant if you really want.
Exactly. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't grow a boxwood inside your house if you had enough light.
I think you should. You love them so much.
really?
You know what? You buy me a boxwood, I'll throw it in the house.
No, I'm not going to buy you one.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Come on, man.
But
I just don't think that lantana are worth the whitefly risk that you.
yeah,
That's a good
I
point.
think that's what it comes down to.
Unless you're a very diligent sprayer before you bring things in, I would really be hesitant to be bringing that in. Or maybe just cut all the foliage off of it down to sticks and then bring it in. That way you would eliminate a lot of that.
Additional support for Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Bates Nursery and Garden Center, a third-generation nursery located in Nashville, Tennessee, and 20-time recipient for Nashville's Best Garden Center, offering the widest selection of new arrivals for fall, like specimen conifers, Japanese maples, and pansies in nearly every color. Open year-round, minutes from the heart of Nashville in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. Browse their selection online anytime at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
All right, let's get a couple more questions. And we've got a pothos question. Pothos has white webs. I used alcohol to clean, but it's still there. Any advice? Yes, I bet it's spider mites, unless you have a lot of little spiders on that plant. And with spider mites, you do have to keep retreating until you take care of it. So wiping it down one time is more than likely not going to kill all those pests. So you can use neem oil. Make sure you're diluting that rubbing alcohol if you are using it. Just keep wiping down your plant. You can actually bring it into your shower and just turn the plant upside down and spray it off. That will help get all those spider mites out of there and just run them down the drain. Keep doing it. You might have to do it like 5 more times, but spider mites can be pretty easy to treat, so that should take care of it.
Definitely.
They don't like excessive moisture at all.
No, they don't.
In the overhead irrigation system situation around the nurseries, it's rarely an issue for us because, particularly on things like spruce that are very susceptible to them, they don't like the foliage being wet all the time. So they just almost never become an issue in that kind of situation. So the treatment you're talking about, very effective.
All right. Best month to plant milkweed seeds. So I usually kind of plant mine. I think about when nature takes its course. So my milkweed it has seed pods and they're going to start dropping. So I typically would plant that in the fall so they can get in there, get all snuggled in, and then give you a really, really strong plant in the spring.
Get good and cold in the wintertime.
Get good and cold in the wintertime.
You can also simulate that by stratifying it in some soil medium in your fridge for 2 to 3 weeks. Just dampen some soil, put the seeds in.
I'd forget it. I just do it outside.
It's, the methodology is solid either way.
It is. Is it too late to overseed lawns?
This is a great
What time
week.
is it?
Yeah, this is a great week for seeding. Me and Ben, actually, Ben's kind of he's a horticulturist out here that is awesome, really cool guy, but he knows a lot about lawns. He used to work for True Green, who did a lot of lawn work. And we were talking last week, we were like, this is like the time to plant your seed, especially say fescue or overseeding rye, whatever you want to do. This is the week to do it. The weather is picture perfect for seeding.
Don't wait.
No, it's time.
Don't wait. Get out there and do it.
Yep. Man, is that the music already?
Wow.
Oh, I
That's
didn't
it.
even realize.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
Teresa
creep
wants
up
to
on us.
know if it's Georgia or Texas. Doesn't really matter, Teresa.
Nah.
Horns down. Because the real UT is in
down. What does
Knoxville.
that even mean?
Yeah, baby.
Alrighty. Hey, folks, that music means that it is time to get out of here. And these folks got to get busy because it's going to be busy here at the nursery. But you need to come out here and take advantage of the 30% off all the roses sale.
Yeah.
And hardy ferns.
And hardy
Oh,
ferns.
yeah. Come get your ferns.
Perennial ferns.
Yeah.
But next Saturday morning, we're going to come in here and we're going to do another edition of Gardening Inside Out right here from the Green Room Studio at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Thanks for being here, folks. We'll see you then.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.